Okay, so this is a very preliminary test, and what I'm doing here is to use a Behringer UMC202HD as a two-channel power and preamp unit. So what I'm doing here, this is just for convenience right now. I'm powering it with a power brick or a USB power bank. And then what I'm doing, I'm plugging in my ME64, which is up here, which is in its normal overhead position for me pieces to camera. Hold on, it's out the shot. Actually, it doesn't matter whether it's in or out the shot. This is just a test. So basically, it's powering the Sennheiser and preamping it. And then what I'm doing, I'm going into channel 1 or the left channel, and then I'm coming out on 1/4 inch. I've just made up a cable which is 1/4 inch to TRS or 2-pole or 3-pole 3.5mm jack. So what I've done at the other end on the 3.5, what I've done, I've just normalized the tip to tip and ring. That's just so basically I'm getting the audio split across both of the channels. Oh, by the way as well, I woke up this morning with a really bad throat, and it looks like I'm coming down with a nasty cold, so I don't think I'm going to sound particularly good for this. Anyway, so basically let me just do a quick thing here. So I'm just going to drop the level down. Okay, so that's the level right down. So I'm going to start bringing the level back up. I think it was probably about there. I'm just trying to look on the camera there to see what it's doing. I think it was about there. Now, what it is, if you put the Behringer into like direct monitor mode, what it literally does is just pass the XLRs or whatever's coming into the XLR or line-ins straight to the outputs. And of course, because it's not plugged into a computer, because it's being powered off this, I mean, it would be able to be powered from a normal USB power supply. But the only problem that I find in practice with things like that is quite often, if you're like working with stuff that's plugged onto the same ring circuits, you can get like a double hit sometimes, especially with USB devices, because they don't seem to be earthed so well, or they're not isolated anyway. But what it is, I'm using the power brick at the moment, so it's fine. Although because I'm going into my camera, and because my camera is battery powered, then it's not taking a main supply. Even if I was using an external supply on that, it'd be fine anyway for hum. But anyway, that's all completely self-contained. I'm just keeping an eye on how much time we've got left on the camera. Yeah, so basically it's a 2-channel microphone like preamplifier with phantom. So what I'm going to do now is just switch over onto my Cascade V57. Okay, so I'm now onto the Cascade V57. And this is just a traditional kind of 1-inch large diaphragm condenser cardioid. Not to be mistaken for some of them kind of cheap Chinese mics. It's probably made in China, or was probably made in China, but it's an American design. Unfortunately, it's not German. My favourite microphones tend to all be German. I used to have like some Geffel mics and stuff. In fact, it was Octavia or Octava, the Russian one as well. They look terrible, or at least they did back in like the late 80s, early 90s when I had my studio and stuff. They looked terrible, but sounded amazing. Yeah, but this is, like I say, it's one of the American ones, so it's a newer type of manufacturer, or more recent, probably only about 20 or 30 years old, something like that. I don't think this mic's that old. Anyway, I'm rambling. In fact, I might be plosive in here. Let me just put this little mesh shield on. Okay, that's just in case it was plosive in there. So again, basically what I'm doing here with this prelim is just to test for the well, I'm going to do a proper full YouTube video on my main channel for this setup, because I think this is fantastic. So that's like, I think £52 I paid for that Behringer. Now, whilst it's brilliant for its intended use as an audio interface for the computer, I think it sounds ace as a 2-channel mic preamp and power supply unit. Now, the other thing as well at a push, because obviously it can be powered by a power brick, you can basically take it anywhere. Now, I'm not suggesting, you go outdoors when it's like bad weather and stuff. But if you were doing certain location stuff and you needed 2 channels of like microphone input and stuff, it's brilliant. And the thing as well, because my camera my camera actually is a bit of an oddity, because it's actually got a very good mic input already. So in order to get this to work, I've had to drop my level right down. What it is, it's one of those kind of digital scale things. It's not an analog interface, or it's not an analog pot on it, to control the variable gain. It's all done digitally within the camera. So this is the very first notch up that I can actually get it to go to. So I've got that on the lowest at the camera. So all the gaining is being done here. Now, also, I did a quick kind of line check on headphones before. And obviously, the thing to do here is to try and get the input as optimized as possible. But it's only got like, one LED basically to tell you if you're distorting. So it's basically get that input right and then use the master output to get the final level going to the camera. But what I did do, I kind of like varied around a little bit, because quite often with analog circuitry, you tend to find that the first preamplifier is the one that you should use the heavy gaining on. And in the instance of basically the summing bus, is not to try and drive the summing, or not get the summing bus to do the heavy lifting at the back end. Usually the quieter way of doing it, and the way to maintain most of your dynamic range, is to do it off the input. So although I did have a little balance between the pair of them, and to be honest, it sounded great no matter what. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be the best thing ever since sliced bread or anything, but I've got a feeling I might actually start using this more in this configuration. And the reason for that is because I can use 2 really good microphones to go into my camcorder. Now, the other thing that this is going to be awesome for is for anything where you just need to get phantom power at the minimum to go into something else, and use this as the actual phantom power supply, and then just have a nominal output coming out, maybe do the gain elsewhere. Or you can do all the driving from this unit as well. So whether that's going to go into some kind of like a passive line level mixer or something like that, but you needed to power a condenser, use this. Also, I think the beauty of this as well, again, for camcorders, will possibly be DSLRs, which are notorious for not having very good preamplifiers. And I don't even think that's changed much in the last couple of years either, except for the likes of Sony, like, stills and stuff that tend to have like decent inputs on them. But there's a load of places you could utilize this. And again, like I said, because it's coming off the power bank as well, it's just flexible. I mean, basically, I think I paid £15 for that power bank, and I think it's something like 20,000 milliamp or something. So it's ridiculous. It lasts forever with this, I would imagine. Because don't forget, this Behringer is designed to run off a USB interface, and I think it's thereabouts. For full USB compliancy, I don't think a device can draw, I think, more than either 350 or 500 milliamp. So, because that's all it can take across a standard USB socket. So basically, it's running at quite a low current anyway. So plugging a power bank into it, you could even use a tiny one and probably still get hours and hours out of it. So it could be a really good thing. And like I say, the way that the reason why it is working is because when you put it into direct monitor mode, which is obviously something that you would normally have switched in to get around latency issues when you're on a door or something with the return signal coming back and what have you. Just so you're not obviously getting the delay back in your headphones or what have you, or the monitoring. But switching that in puts it into this mode, which I think is fantastic. Yeah, anyway, I'm just going to carry on rambling. I think I'm starting to get a little bit dizzy in the head as well, because I had a couple of paracetamol before and some Lemsip as well for this terrible snotty nose that I'm developing and this awfully painful throat, which is only going to get worse the more I talk. Anyway, yes, so what it is, this video is just a prelim, and it's going to be something that I'm going to get into on my main channel, hopefully within the next month. But if this has ended up sounding okay, I might open it up and let it go live on on my test channel, which is where it'll be. So if anyone's come across this on my test channel, if you check out my proper YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/David Harry, that's where I have all my normal proper, like, you know, finished videos and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully this has been interesting and it's been a bit of an eye-opener for me, and I think this is a bargain because it'll do two things. It'll be a USB audio interface, and it can be a standalone microphone powering preamplifier. Anyway, if you have watched this video, thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.